Hello everyone, welcome back to Crafts by the Bow. Today I'm just catching up with Christmas card making. I still have a couple to give to neighbours and I wanted something sort of fast and easy but that looked pretty. So I took out this sample that my friend Shauna McCuliac had sent me a couple of years ago. She's a demonstrator in Saskatchewan and you can find her at Stamp Ventures with Shauna. And she sent me this in a swap, and it's a little card that folds flat, goes in an ordinary size envelope, and then you just close it together and it makes like a little teepee card. I think they also have different names like tent cards, but I still call it a teepee card. And I have made these before, but I thought I would make one for you on camera and show you just how quick and easy it is. And to make it even faster, I'm using some of our retiring paper. This is the Trim in the Town Designer Series paper, which is in the clearance sales at the moment with 10% off. It is a whole retiring suite, but I've just loved playing with it. I haven't actually used the stamp set. I've used the dies a lot and I've used the paper a lot, but I must get on it and use the stamps as well. And we're going to use this piece. Now, there's absolutely no stamping on my card today, and because I want to make a lot in a short time, I find it quicker if I don't have something where there's lots of intricate stamping. So all I've done is chosen this paper, it's the one with the stripes on the back, and I went through the houses and I used the dies from the set, which, let me show you, the dies in here. I just chose the house shapes and the tree shapes. And all I did was I went across the paper, I cut pieces off, and then I punched out just the ones I wanted. If you don't have the dies, it's a really easy pattern just to cut with scissors. You don't need the dies. If you just have the paper and card, that's all you need to make these. So I've already got a little collection over here of houses and trees, and that's what we'll be using. But let me show you first how we make the card base. Oh, I can't pick that one up. There we go. So you start off with just a piece of cardstock that measures 8 by 4. And what you need to do is to take your scoreboard or your trimmer, and we're going to score it at 4 inches. So I'll just make sure I've only got my score blade. Okay. And then we're going to score it from the corner to the middle to corner, so it will make sort of like a roof shape or an envelope shape in the scoring. So I'm going to line it up from this middle score to this one, and I'm just going to put it in the track, and I'm going to make sure that my score is in the track and then move the bottom piece down until the point is in the track. Okay. And I find that easier to do on this rather than on my Simply Scoring tool. And I'm going to move my score blade along a bit. I'm not going to go right from the edge, because I find sometimes if you try and cut from that edge or score from that edge, you can just sort of rough up the end of the card a little bit. Okay, so that's my first score. I don't know if you can see it on camera. Then I'm going to go from here to here, so I'm just going to do the same thing again. I'm going to line up the corner in the track, and then where all these little score lines are going to meet, I'm going to line that up as well. I'm going to move my blade down, and I'm just going to score. So we've now got that sort of arrow or roof shape with a line coming down. And for the rest of the base card, you need another piece cut in the same colour, and this is cut at 4 by 4, and this time we're going to score corner to corner as well. So I'm just lining it up. I'm going to move my blade down a little bit. Okay. Now, while we've got the trimmer and everything out, I'll show you the other things. We need a little piece of Designer Series paper that measures 3 7/8 by 3 7/8. You need it slightly smaller so that you have a border between your Designer Series paper, you see, and your cardstock, and so that it doesn't get caught up on the folds. So I've chosen this. It doesn't matter which way round this paper goes. If you had a side like this, you might find that you need to do 2 pieces, because otherwise when you put your designer series paper on here and here, it wouldn't match up. One piece would be upside down. So I found that if I'm using a paper that has got a pattern, I make 2 of the same card and I just use 1 piece from each of the squares that I cut. It's just easier than trying to match. But we're going to just put this in, just like we did for scoring, corner and the corner in the track. But instead of scoring, this time we're going to cut. So I'm moving my cutting blade up into the middle. And I'm going up to the top and down, and that way it doesn't rough up those edges. And you need to do exactly the same with a piece of Whisper White or very vanilla or whatever colour it is that you want to have your writing on. And I've already done that. It was 3 7/8 again, and I've just gone corner to corner and cut it. And that's all we need that for. Okay, so let's start and put it together. Okay, so I'm holding this in front of me so that the dips or the valleys are on the top. And you can see that when it's put together, we're going to have a white piece up here, our designer series papers in the middle, and this piece has nothing attached. So I'm just going to fold over. I'm just going to go gently because it's got that corner edge and we want it to still make a triangle shape. We don't want it to be sort of too bent over there. I'm going to do the same at the other side. I'm just going gently until the paper sort of folds of its own accord. And you can go over that with a scoreboard as well. With a bone folder, I beg your pardon. There we go. Okay. And you can already see that when we fold that together and push it in, it's going to make that perfect little teepee showing at the front. Now, we need to do the same with this. Just going to fold it over across that score line. Make sure it's right at the edges. Okay, and I'm going to put my designer series paper on whilst it's in this state and before it's all folded together. I just find it quicker and easier. So I'm going to get my 2 pieces of designer series paper and I'm going to use my wet glue. And that way, if I haven't got it quite straight, it won't matter. And just making sure I've got some near the edge, but not right on the edge. I don't want the glue to be squishing out. And then these go just on the front here. Make sure that I haven't lined it up near the score line there. So just push it over to the score line, and then you'll have a tiny little border all the way around. And it won't impede on the fold that you've got. You don't want it to be stuck on that fold at all. And then I'm going to do the same with the other piece. And once you've made a couple of these and you get the idea of which way they fold and everything, they are quite fast. They still only use, a small amount of cardstock, so you're not using a lot of card. And often you'll find that your 4x4 piece of matching card, you might have that in your scraps bin already. Now you can see it looks like there's a wide border there, but because it's going to be folded, it's only a narrow border on each side. There we go. Okay. And then I'm going to put my white piece on. If you were going to stamp on this, I would stamp on it now before you've attached it. But I'm not stamping, so I'm going to attach mine. Now, what I did find was the easiest way to work out where to stamp if you're stamping is to just place it on here, turn it over, and you're going to, because your piece is going to be like this, so you're going to sort of work out where your stamp is going to be. Don't sort of put it any way like this and try and stamp, because you won't get it in a straight line. It can be just a little bit difficult to work out the angle on the first couple. But I promise you, it is an easy card. I'm making it sound like it's difficult, and it isn't. Okay, so I'm just going to attach that there, and it's got that little border all the way around again. And then I'm going to flip it right over, and I'm going to get my piece that I scored, the little square piece, and it's going to fit in here. You're going to line it up with the score down the middle and up to the edges of this score. But you can see that this little piece here and this little piece here, you don't want to have any glue on it. So what I sometimes do is I'll make a little pencil mark here, and that'll show me where I need the glue. Or I just sort of go by eye, and I think I just need glue here. I know I need glue in the middle. Same again. It doesn't matter if you don't go all the way to the edges. And I know that's going to be about right. So I'm just going to line this score line up with the one down the centre, and make sure that the point of this corner just goes to the top. Now I've got a little bit extra glue at this right hand side, so let me show you what we do with that. I'm just going to wipe it off with my finger, and then I'm going to get my little glue eraser and just go over it. It won't matter because it's not going to be on the outside anyway. I just don't want it to be sticky. There we go. Okay, so you've now got your little fold. Your teepee card is all made. Okay. I'm just going to bend that one in a bit. There we go. And then this is going to fit onto that side. Now, to keep the teepee card closed, you can use a little magnet, but I like to use that Velcro, that hook and loop stuff. And I don't pay a lot of money for it. Look, this whole thing was $1.25, and you need the tiniest little bit. I cut off a little piece and then cut it in half and then cut it in half again. If you have too much, it's too difficult to open the card, and you'll find that it pulls, and you might pull off your part of your cardstock or something. So this has got adhesive on both sides. I'm sorry, now I've got glue on my fingers. They're not really dirty, I promise. And I'm just going to take off the adhesive. I've got both bits stuck together. So I've got the hooks and the little loops together. And I'm going to put my Velcro about here, but on the back. And I've got both pieces together because I want it to be that when I close the card up, I know I've got it in the right place. Okay. Let's just take that little bit of glue off there. Okay, so I know now it's in the right place. I don't have to worry about trying to match it up or anything. I know that will close perfectly. Okay, so there's our card, the base of our card already made. Let's get to decorating. So I always decorate this side, and then the plain side is just here to the right. But I know some people do it the other way around, but just for me, I find it easier to have the piece standing up like that. I can't see any of the edges, and I think it looks nicest. And all I'm going to do is get those pieces that I'd already pre-cut. I'm going to take one of the medium-sized houses and one of the small-sized houses. Okay, so I'm actually going to do these ones. And I did some trees. I've done quite a few of the trees, but what I need for this is going to be one big tree and two small trees. And I'm just going to hold the house here because I want to put the big tree behind it. And I just want to sort of measure roughly where it's going to be. I don't want to put it too far down. Okay, so I'm going to pop glue on the back of there. Let's get this again. I'm just going to make sure that's in the right place. Let's pick this little tree up. Oops. I need another hand. There we are. Okay. Oops. And then I'm going to sort of just make it so that it's right at the edge of the card. Not that it's sticking over, just that it's right at the edge. Perfect. That's just where I wanted it. Now this piece I'm going to glue down flat as well. We are going to use some dimensionals for some of the other pieces, but the base of the house I just want to have flat, and so that it covers a bit of that tree. I'm going to make it so that the thing's all level. There. Okay. Oh, let's just move that around a bit. It's a tiny bit wonky. That's better. And then I'm going to use one of the little pieces, and I'm going to put dimensionals on the back. Oh, that's only the top. Okay. Just a couple is fine. Take that backing off. And I'm going to put this at the left-hand side of the house here, so that it looks like it's sort of a bit more 3D, and this bit sticks out a little bit more. And then I'm going to put more of my trees on. I'm going to just glue one of them down, and I want it to be just on the side of this house. And then my last little tree I'm going to put on with dimensionals. I'm going to use the smaller ones this time, just so that I can get further up near the top of the tree, and then one at the bottom. There we go. Let's take the back ends off those. And I'm just going to put that over near that little bunch of trees. And then with some of my other pieces, what I will do is, on my envelope, I'll put one of the big trees. Might as well do that now while we've got the glue out. So I'm going to put a big tree. Now this isn't going through the mail, so I'm not worried that the mailing machine will knock it off or tear it or anything. If it was going through the mail, I would probably stamp and colour instead. And then I'm going to put that little tree there too. And then it matches the card. Okay. Let's find that little glue eraser again and just... There we are. Okay, now before I finish with the design here, I'm going to put some of the adhesive backed snowflakes on. And this is another thing that's retiring. They had 50% off. I don't know if there's many left. By the time you're watching this video, they were selling quite fast. But there's a sheet that's holographic and it's sort of white and pink, and a sheet that's greens and yellows and pinks. I'm going to put the white ones on this time. So I'm going to do those. I'm going to take them off with my Take Your Pick tool because they're tiny and my fingers are already a bit sticky. You could use the other end as well with the little ticky-tack side on. Oops. And I'm just going to put them on top of the snowflakes that are on the patterned paper. And you can put just as many as you want on. I want it to look like it's snowing. I'm going to pop a couple on the house as well. Let's just try and lay that a bit flat so that you can see it. Okay. I'm just going to pop a few on the house. And a couple on the trees. These are just a perfect little size. They're just small enough that they do look like snowflakes. Okay, that's all I'm going to put on for today. And then last of all, we're going to do the sentiment on here. And one of the other sheets in the Designer Series paper pack is, let me show you, is this one that has got all the sentiments on. And it has sentiments in German and French as well as English. So if you're sending to a French family, it's really nice that if you don't have a stamp set with sentiments on, you can just cut these out and add them. I have tried cutting, but I'm not straight enough to be able to cut. I find it best to cut them with the paper trimmer and make the whole strip and then just cut off the little bits I need. Now, if you can cut in a straight line, not like me, you'd be able to just cut them. So I've already chosen Oh, where did I put them? I've got a little piece here, this Let It Snow piece. Okay, and I think I'm just going to put it across the bottom here. So, let's pop it on with a little bit of glue. Okay, I'm just going to put that one there. And then on this side, I've cut out the piece that says, from our home to yours. And what I'm going to do is pop it on here, but I'm going to cut it into little strips and put it on. Let me see where I'm hiding my scissors. I'm just going to cut the to yours off. And I'm going to put the from our home on one little piece. And if you find that you need more space for your sentiment, or you want to add another greeting, instead of doing 2 pieces of designer series paper, you could always, let me make that sure. I should have squashed that down with my thumb before I moved. There we go. You could always put another piece of your white card. So instead of having this piece of designer series paper, use your other piece of white, put it on here, and that gives you a bit more space too. Okay. So there we are. That's my little Teepee card for today. And just to show you that it does fit in an envelope, I'm going to undo it. And can you see how it fits? Just fits, but it's perfect. Okay. So thank you for joining me today. I really appreciate your support, and thank you to all the people who have been signing up to subscribe to my YouTube channel or to my blog. It's always lovely to know that somebody has watched what you've made and is enjoying what you're making just as much as you are. If you need to go over to my blog, if you want any of the sizes, or you want to watch the video again, it's at craftsbythebow.blogspot.com. And I did have a question last week. A lady asked again if the bow was like a ribbon bow, but I actually live just the side of the Bow River in Cochrane, Alberta. So it's just a hint to the Bow River because I'm crafting by the side of the river. So thanks again, everybody. If I don't see you again before Christmas, have a wonderful holiday season. I know it's a little bit difficult this year because we can't all meet together. But hopefully next year we'll get to see our loved ones in person, and we'll have a much, much better time. Thanks, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.